This video contains spoilers for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and it's also not made for fucking kids. So, after seeing the movie and having a few discussions with some friends, I've come up with a few ideas on what we could possibly see in movie 4, and also a few ideas of what I'd really love to see. This isn't going to be a detailed fan script plot or anything like that. This is just a few ideas that have gone through my mind. Firstly, there's the whole idea of what the main plot will be to begin with. I'm honestly not sure where to go with that. But the fact that we now know that both Metal Sonic and Amy Rose are going to be a thing in movie 4, the thing that immediately comes to mind is Sonic CD. And of course, a big part of Sonic CD is time travel. So time travel may very well be an element in movie 4. But there's one thing that's stopping me from definitely saying that time travel will be a part of it. And that's the fact that it's been said in interviews before that they have plans for Silver. And if time travel was going to be introduced, then Silver would be the character they'd introduce it with, seeing as that's literally his whole thing, being a guy from the future and all that. So I'm saying time travel is possible, but not exactly likely at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what comes later. One thing that I certainly couldn't help but noticing was the fact that we now seem to have an army of Metal Sonics. Now, if there is an army of Metal Sonics, that suggests to me that they would have a leader of some kind, like maybe an emperor, or perhaps an overlord. That's kind of me fanboying out a bit more than something I think will happen genuinely. But if they really do dig deep and go the Fleetway route with the Metal Sonics, I would be so happy to see that side of the Sonic story get some rep, like you wouldn't believe. The one major plot point thing that's been going through my mind, though, is what exactly happens with Robotnik now? Here's my take on the matter. Whether Robotnik comes back from the far-flung future in time travel shenanigans, or if he's just lost in space and makes his way back another way, he's going to find that he has been honoured as a hero, much in a very similar vein to the way that Gerald was in the true ending of Shadow the Hedgehog the game.
How ironic. After the way we all treated him, he saved us all in the end. We were all wrong about the Professor. Let us pay homage to Professor Gerald. Let's work to ensure peace and prosperity for a brighter future. What do you say, Commander?
Excellent idea, Mr. President.
Since he revealed via his live stream how he was the one who was redirecting the cannon to save the Earth. However, Robotnik being the guy he is, I can see him rejecting the heroism and rejecting the honour, being that his intentions were to save the world in order to rule it himself. And that's where the Metal Sonics will come in to his plot. And now for a couple of things that I have to give credit to my pal Scurvy Pirate Hog for bringing these up. Another way that could motivate Robotnik is that if he has been black holed or whatever to the future, and he finds that despite his sacrifice, nobody remembers who he is. That's another thing that could drive him back to the villainy. And another suggestion that he made that I found really interesting was that after the incidents in Sonic 3, that would lead him to rejecting the Robotnik name to officially go by Eggman as a way to distance himself from Gerald. Again, not a thing I think that will happen, but something I found really interesting. And my boy Scurvy was really cooking when he thought of that, I must say. Bravo, my friend. Now, another element in these movies is, of course, the side plot. And that's something I've put quite a bit of thought into. In each movie, we see Sonic and Tom progress their father-son relationship. And in movie 4, with Amy entering the picture, in my mind, the natural next step of this is girl talk. The thing to keep in mind is that this isn't the Sonic who meets Amy as a clingy fangirl. This Amy appeared out of the shadows and saved his ass from a robotic army with a bedazzled Mjolnir. And given that this Sonic is a teen boy, in my mind, a cute girl that kicks ass like that would get his heart racing. And he will need Tom's fatherly advice in order to help him navigate the rough seas of his first crush. Maybe that's just the Son Amy brain talking, but, well, honestly, I think if there was ever to be a continuity that would let it happen, this is the one to do it. Because the one thing this movie really doesn't need to do is go the whole boys club or ooh girls route. Because not only would this alienate the female side of the audience, but another thing to remember is that this version of Sonic was both raised by a single mother, that being Longclaw, and also has Maddie in his life, who he knows is a cool girl boss that you don't fucking mess with. Sonic would know that women are strong too. Maybe Knuckles would rib him for his crush once or twice, but that should be about it. To go back to the old ways that Amy used to be treated would set the fandom back quite a lot. So please don't go the boys club route. Even if they don't do the romance plot. That's all I really want. The one last thing to take into consideration, though, is that movie 4 has been slated for a 2027 release, which is 3 years after Sonic 3's released, as opposed to the 2-year cycle that we've been seeing. So we're going to be waiting a while for this, and I reckon we're likely going to see either the talked about Shadow series or Series 2 of Knuckles in the meantime. Maybe even both. I don't think it will be both, but, maybe. And who knows, maybe something will happen in one of those series that will set up something in the 4th movie. Although, highly unlikely. This concludes my video on my random, scattered thoughts about what we could possibly see in Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Thank you all so much for watching, and good night out there, whatever you are.